Okay, so welcome to Math Today. What we're doing today is word problems. So this is the page we're going to be working on, and as you can tell, you're supposed to write your answers over here. You do have an answer bank. So before we get started on this page, I'm going to do a quick review of multiplication. So Monday and yesterday you were working on models. Then yesterday you were asked to go ahead and multiply some. So if you had 2 over 3 times 1 over 4. So we're not going to draw a model of this. Models are done for today. We're moving on to actual multiplication. And like you did yesterday, you multiply straight across. So on the ones you didn't draw the models of, you were supposed to multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not asking you to reduce it at this point. I'm just asking you to multiply. All right? Can I reduce it? Yes. Do I want you to reduce it today? No. Let's just worry about getting the multiplication done. All right. Another example would be 5 over 6 times 7 over 6. All right. Is this improper? Yes. Is that okay? That's actually, as long as we have two fractions, it's perfectly fine. And then again, you just multiply numerator times numerator. 5 times 7, 35. 6 times 6, 36. And then sometimes when you multiply, it will be proper. Sometimes it will be improper. All right. But today, all I'm asking is for you to multiply. Now, that is in situations where you have fractions. Today, they're word problems, but we're multiplying fractions, people. All right, we're just multiplying. So you see two numbers, you multiply those two numbers. Do I want you to actually look and see how it's worded? Yes, but we are just multiplying fractions. If you saw the problem, I'm going to start with number 2. I see 3 1/2, and I see 4 1/7. Are those fractions? No. All right. So 3 1/2 times 4 1/7. Okay. Can I still work it out? That's what I'm showing you how to do today. All right. So we go back to what we learned way back at the beginning of fractions when I started teaching a few weeks ago. We're going to do the triangle method. All right. I'm going to review the triangle method right now. Okay. So if you look at mixed numbers, they look like little triangles. All right. And there's a number on each point. All you have to do is remember that you're going to multiply these two and then add the numerator, and it always comes right back down and lands on the denominator. So the denominator on these stay the same. All right. So this one will be over 2. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and you bring it right back down and put it over 2. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1, 29. Bring it right back down and put it over 7. So now my problem is 29 over 7 and 7 over 2. And then we just multiply like normal. All right. Personally, off the top of my head, I do not know what 7 times 29 is. So I may have to say 29 times 7. 7 times 9 is, carry your 63. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 203 over 14. Okay, what kind of fraction is that?
Improper.
And what do you do when you're improper?
Yeah, throw it in the bracket.
All right, so we're going to throw it in the bracket. 203 divided by 14. All right, goes in one time. 1 times 14 is 14. Okay, we got to borrow and subtract. 6 is less than 14, so I'm going to bring down 3. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to go back to my possible answers. I know it's a 1 and something else, so it's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, right here, I know it's either going to be 12 or 14 because those are my possible answers. Then I'm going to look. Well, this one is over 18. This one's over 14. Well, I know it has to be over 14. So I'm going to guess this answer is 4. Without even thinking, I go back to my possible choices and see which one is most likely my answer. And I'm going to pick 4. All right, so I'm going to go over here and do 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 56. So far it's working. I'm going to borrow, then I'm going to subtract. Okay, this is my remainder. So if you remember, you put your remainder on top, and at this point, the divisor doesn't change. It is the the denominator doesn't change, so it's the divisor. 14. And that is one of my answer choices. So that means number 2, I'm going to come over here and fill in, is 14 and 7/14. Did they reduce? No. Could they have reduced? Yes. 7 is actually half of 14, so it would be 14 and a half. Again, I'm not asking you to reduce today, but you are going to have to do triangle method. All right. Let's do one more. I'm going to do number 6. All right, number 6. A soda. Now, I am reading this one because there is 1, 2, 3 numbers in it. So let's read it. Follow along on your own. A soda shop owner told his employee to add 2 full cups and 1/5 cup of syrup to each gallon of soda. If there were 4 gallons of soda, how much syrup would he need? All right, so right here, 2 full cups and 1/5 cup. So actually, this and is add. So 2 plus 1/5 is 2 and 1/5. So it is actually saying in words a mixed number. All right, so we have 2 1/5 cups of syrup for each gallon. And if you remember when we were going over word problems last time, each you're going to multiply. If there were 4 gallons of soda, how much would he need? So 2 1/5 times 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is make each of these into a fraction. All right, so again, triangle method. We've got a 5, we've got a 2, we've got a 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and you bring it right back down and put it over 5. Okay, now, this is a whole number, and we've talked about how to make whole numbers into fractions. You put a 1 under it. Yeah, good job. Under it. Put a 1 under it. So we've got 4 over 1. And then we multiply straight across. 11 times 4 is 44. 5 times 1 is 5. And what kind of fraction is it?
Improper.
And what do you do when you're improper?
Throw it in the bracket.
All right, throw it in the bracket. So 44 divided by 5. Remember, numerator and denominator. The numerator goes inside. Can't divide 4. Can divide 44. Goes 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract 4. Now our remainder goes on top. And the denominator stays the same, which is the divisor. All right, so let's see if that was an answer choice. 8 4/5 by George, it is. So for number 6, we're going to put 8 4/5. All right. Okay, so I know a lot of you are confused, so don't start freaking out yet. All right. It's a lot of work to get through. Now, if you have 2 fractions you multiply straight across, not a big deal. But when we run into these mixed numbers, that's where the extra work comes in. All right. So we're going to do another one. All right. So number 7. We're going to do number 7 together. Adam had a lump of silly putty that was 4 5/6 inches long. You have this sheet. If you say you can't see this, get out your paper. If he stretched it out 2 2/3 times its current length, how long would it be? Well, I've got 2 numbers. All right. Now I am going to say right here, times. It tells you to times. Our test is going to be over multiplication and division. All right, so you are going to have to decipher these. If you see times, if you say each, if you see a fraction and then the word as, or as much as, it's going to be times. All right, so I'm going to write these numbers down. 4 5/6 and 2 2/3. Okay. So, I don't care if you write them up and down. I don't care if you write them side to side. Doesn't really matter. Now, I know the triangle method is confusing. I 100% realize that. I get it. All right? So let me just tell you why we're doing this. This means we have 4 5/6s. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't. It means we have 1 5/6 and 4 wholes. So 4 6/6s. All right. So we have 4 wholes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because 6/6 is equal to 1 whole. And then we had 1 5/6. If you wanted to do it this way, you could. But that's why we're multiplying by 4. 6, 6, 6, and 6. So I can go 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Or I can say 6 4s are 24. And then I have 1 5. So 24 plus 5 is 29. And then it is over 6. Because if I added, the denominator stays the same. Or with the triangle method, I can bring it back down over 6. All right, that is why we do the triangle method. It means we have 4 wholes, and 1 would be 6/6, 2 would be 12/6, 3 would be 18/6. I'm just adding it in my head, and 4 is 24/6, and then there's 5 left over. All right, so now let's do the bottom one. All right. If you feel more comfortable using this denominator and saying 3/3, I need 2 of those, 3/3 and 2/3, you can. But if you end up with a number like 14 and a half or 25 and a third. It's going to be very tedious writing that many whole numbers. But for these smaller numbers, it's not that hard. All right, so right here, 3 plus 3 is 6, 7, 8 over 3. Well, if I do triangle method, we've got 2 and 2/3. Triangle, 3, 2, 2 times plus 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8, and bring it back down and put it over 3. You get the same thing. So it's just a matter of a times and a plus here, or writing multiple things out here. Again, it's preference. There's more than one way to do things. There's more than one way to correctly do things. There's even another way to multiply mixed numbers, all right? Multiple ways to do things in math. I try to teach the simplest way that will work every time. If you know how to do it and do it correctly, or if your parent shows you how to do it and do it correctly, by all means. Hey, this isn't 4th grade math where we're testing you on procedures. This is 5th grade math where we are just seeing if you can do it, all right? Right now it starts the hard stuff, all right? So there's only one or two topics where I require you to do it a certain way. Everything else, you can figure it out on your own. I wouldn't even care if you drew a model to do this, all right? It's up to you. But I'm going to be showing with triangle method because I find it simplest, easiest, and always works. So now that I have my 2 fractions, I'm going to multiply. So 29 over 6 times 8 over 3. And then I multiply. Do I know what 29 over 8 is? Not without working it out, all right? When you get these numbers, they're going to be bigger numbers, and you are going to have to work them out. All right, for time purposes, I've already got this worked out, but I will, you know what? We've got plenty of time. I'm going to go ahead and work it out off to the side. 29 times 8. 8 times 9, 72. 8 times 2, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 232. All right, then 6 times 3, 18. What kind of fraction is it?
Improper.
And what do you do when you're improper?
You throw it in the bracket.
Okay, so 232 divided by 18. Can't go into 2. It can go into 23 one time. 18, subtract, borrow, 5. It is less than 18, so I'm going to bring down. Now, you remember, there was only 2 that had 10s. So I pretty much know that this one should be 12 if I do my math right. So I'm going to pick 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't quite look big enough, but we will see. 12 minus 6 is 6. 4 minus 3 is 1. Our remainder goes on top. Our denominator doesn't change. It's the divisor. So 12 and 16 over 18. 12 and 16 over 18. So I must have done something right. So I'm going to go and write it on my answer. Okay. So I've got one more I'm going to do with you, and then I'm going to turn you loose. So the last problem we're doing together is, after a party, there was half of a pizza left over. If George gave half of the leftovers to Olivia, what fraction of pizza did he give to her? All right. Half of half. Okay. Right there. Half of, that means we're multiplying. Half of half. If you remember when we did 1/10 of meant multiply. So if you have a fraction in the word of, that means that fraction times whatever it's talking about. And here the leftovers means 1/2, the pizza. That's what the leftovers is. So 1/2 times 1/2. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Simplest math. No mixed numbers. 1/4. Oh, there it is, 1/4. And you write it in. All right. You can work the rest on your own. Good luck.
I'm good.